Inner Voice, a heartfelt chat with Dr. Fujan.
Every time the conversation shifted to family life, home life, relationship, the confidence these leaders had, their voice, everything shifted to. It was like a whisper of shame or regret or, oh, this is not an area of my life that I'm killing it as I am at work. And that really broke my heart. And I started noticing that when we were talking about people were sharing what they're doing in their relationships, there was a huge gap between what they wanted, which was to become that power couple, which was to be happy and build a beautiful relationship, to what they were doing.
Introducing a powerful new update from the Fujan App. Now with flexible subscription plans to fit your journey monthly, quarterly, or yearly. Our new AI-driven onboarding customizes your path to feeling better, faster, and enjoy a refreshed experience with stunning 3D interactive videos. Update now. Empower your inner voice with Fujan. Download today.
Listen up if you want to promote your personal growth and self-awareness. I found the Fujan app last month and I have been absolutely loving it. I personally have never learned guided meditation, but thanks to this app, I now have learned incredible tools for my own stress relief and emotional self-awareness. Not to mention, there are self-evaluation tools and professional coaching available to utilize however your journey to self-discovery takes you. Join Fujan today and redefine your life one step at a time.
Welcome to Inner Voice, a heartfelt chat podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Foojan Zeine, a psychotherapist, author, and the founder of the International Awareness Integration Institute. Today, I speak with Gabriela Embon. She believes that a fulfilling adult life hinges on two essential components: an ideal career and a thriving primary relationship. So after spending 8 years as a chemical engineer, Gabriela transitioned into couples coaching and bringing with her a unique edge, combining the precision of engineering with deep insights into human potential. She inspires high achievers and organizations to succeed, shedding light on the strategies needed to engineer extraordinary careers and build resilient, fulfilling relationships, both inside and outside of the workplace. So we will be talking about her book, Becoming a Power Couple, 4 Pillars to Engineer Legendary Marriages. And we had a great conversation. Obviously, you guys know I'm a psychotherapist. So we talked about, the different phases of the marriages and how it works and what are each one of those pillars. You'll enjoy the conversation. We really had a good gap together, and I'm positive that you'll enjoy it as much as I did. So be sure to subscribe to this podcast on my YouTube channel and connect with me through the website, FoojanZeine.com, or any of the social media platforms. Go to Fujan App and get your 3-day of free checking it out. It's a journaling, and you have your AI chatbot, Mira, which is trained on the awareness integration theory and could answer your questions that you really deeply have about yourself or any of your relationships. So I'd love to hear from you. Let me know. Now, without further ado, let's chat with Gabriela Embon.
Intentional Parenting, a practical guide to awareness integration theory, written by Dr. Jafari, Dr. Foojan Zeine, and Dr. Manoukian, 3 experts in human development, is your step-by-step guide to raising a healthy child prepared for a culturally integrated world. You're supported in parenting infants to adolescents using the latest evidence-based scientific research on parenting. Order your copy on Amazon now.
It is so nice to have you with us, Gabriela Embon. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dr. Zeine. I'm very excited to be here.
So, you are an engineer that just kind of switched over and said, I want to take every concept of engineering that I've known in my life, and I'm going to actually put it to use at work, in marriage, and in relational concepts. And that's where the book that you wrote, which is right behind you, there it is, Becoming a Powerful Couple, 4 Pillars to Engineering, to Engineer Legendary Marriages. So why?
I love you, that question. So I'll give you a little bit of context. We'll start a little bit earlier. 15 years ago, I did a career change from engineering to the world of coaching, because I realized I was more passionate about people than I was about building microprocessors or Pentium 4s at the time. And initially, I started coaching individuals, but especially in career and life transition. But I noticed something powerful that I couldn't ignore. Every time the conversation shifted to family life, home life, relationship, the confidence these leaders had, their voice, everything shifted to. It was like a whisper of shame or regret or, oh, this is not an area of my life that I'm killing it as I am at work. And that really broke my heart. And I started noticing that when we were talking about, people were sharing what they're doing in their relationships, there was a huge gap between what they wanted, which was to become that power couple, which was to be happy and build a beautiful relationship, to what they were doing. And that's what the book is all about. How do we actually engineer? What do we need to do? And that's why the engineering is all about the doing. What is the right framework that we want to apply in order to build the relationship we all want? Because everybody wants to feel loved, cherished, connected. Nobody wants to feel lonely. And more than that, nobody wants to be in a relationship and feel lonely. Right.
Which is worse, because I think when you're not in a relationship, you have an idea about where I am, and you capture your life in a way where you bring friends, you bring the people in community around you, but when you are in a relationship, there is an expectation that arises where you are with someone and you want the connection with them, and when the connection is not there, it really feels a lot more lonelier than when you are not in a relationship. That's true.
Absolutely.
Another thing that you said, which really resonates, which I'm a therapist, for marriage and family therapist for 32 years. And it's what you said is so amazingly accurate, which is people gain a lot of skills in their work, communication skills, and how to relate, how to connect, how to, influence, how to communicate professionally, how to be and kind of empathize. Like, I think that there's a connection that happens at work where there's the skill set that, when you go to a work, this is the culture of work, this is the way you communicate, this is the way you conduct yourself. When you become a management, they tell you to go learn these skills in how to manage. And amazingly enough, the same person who learns this and can be very successful in a community of work 8 to 10 hours a day, suddenly they come home and all of those skills are not necessarily transferred. And they turn around and they become sometimes like their vulnerable self or their childhood self, which was in the family. And as if the other part doesn't even, come home, like they leave it outside, and another human being comes in with different types of expectation and not necessarily using the skills that I've been using for for 12 hours or 10 hours at work. Have you noticed that?
Absolutely. And I actually ask myself, why is that? Why is that as successful as they are at work, when it comes to relationships, it's like you're another person right now. Like you said, you left that competent, empathetic, compassionate leader at work. And I asked myself why, and I came up with two reasons, and maybe we can discuss and you can share more from your experience. So one reason is that we all have, in the words of Jake Hendricks, an upper limit of how much positivity and happiness we can experience that is created in our childhood based on the way we grew up, right? So sometimes if we reach that upper limit at work, because there we're experiencing a lot of happiness, fulfillment, success, then we reach that set point and we sabotage ourselves without knowing in our relationships. So that's the leader that knows how to talk to people at work, but then when they come at home, they need to start a fight just to lower, just not to be above that upper limit. So that's obviously very unconscious. Nobody wants to do that. But I believe this is one of the reasons. And I also believe the second reason, pardon me, you can hear I'm recovering from a cold. The second reason is that, as you said beautifully, we are taught how to do personal development, career development, how to succeed. In fact, we are driven when we are young, when our late 20s, early 30s, by the need to prove that we can be successful. But no one teaches us how to win at home as well. And not only nobody teaches us, not everybody had a good example. So we go into this marriage commitment in relationships with the best intentions, but very blindfolded. We really don't know what we're doing. And we sometimes believe that love is a strategy. So not everybody gets married out of love, but if you do, many believe that's all it takes. It is a strategy and it should be enough to succeed. There's nothing else I need to do. The moment I said I do, basically, that's all it takes.
I think cartoons and movies have also, storytelling has promoted that. Like, all you need to do is find the mate, and then the movie ends with happily ever after.
Absolutely.
I think the expectation.
This is just the beginning. It's like all you need to do is give birth to a child. But that then it's not true. You have to raise that child.
Yes. Also, I think to add to the two reasons that you shared, is that I think that our family, when we were born into a relationship or a lack of it, right? So we're born in the first relationship that we're born into is either the marriage of our parents, or for people who are divorced, the divorce of our parents, if it's a single parent, to the lack of that concept of the parenthood together. So by role modeling, that's the air that was there as a natural concept of couplehood. So it's an automatic default position that when we go into a marriage, not dating, because we didn't show up at our parents' dating, we showed up at their marriage. We already have installed set of codes that shows up because that's the first relationship we were there and experienced it. And I think that a lot of times what I've experienced with my clients is automatically they take on those roles without really knowing. It is so subconscious that they don't know. And, as we work together, it's like, oh, I've just become like my mother. I've just become like my father. And you see that the same thing with parenting, right? Like,
absolutely.
Sometimes you're like, I'm never say what my mother said to me. And then you find yourself, I'm like, I sounded exactly like my mother right now. So those subconscious concepts show up where this is not the same as work, right? So at work, obviously, we might have looked at our father or mothers the way that they came and talked about work when they came home, but they went somewhere else and did their work thing. So when it came to work, we actually started learning our own experiences when we went to work, and we established what those could look like. So
that's right.
Coming to your book, you use the word a power couple. how come you're using the word power couple?
Because that's the stage we reach once we overcome, if we divide the relationship in three stages, the most common three stages, the honeymoon phase, then we have the power. Once we overcome that one and we grow out of it, we see it as an opportunity, we naturally transcend or transform into these power couples. And not always, but ideally, we want to, if we see the second stage, if we don't stay stuck in it and just coast, but if we actually use it as an opportunity to grow, then we build that power couple synergy. It's a beautiful synergy to have because it's what we all aspire to when we first get married or commit to someone, is that feeling that we are in this together. Power couples don't just support each other, they enhance each other. They make decisions together. They see each other as their favorite person. They see each other as their best friends, their ally, their accomplice, their go-to person. And that's the synergy when you feel like the sum of the two parts is bigger than 1 + 1 = 2. That together you can do anything.
Very much. And I've seen that when the drama that consistently is around relational concepts comes into a fruition of going from drama to excellence, or feeling the connection and feeling that when you come home, you are exactly what you just said, the friendship, the support, all of that is there. The connection is there. That people actually excel more in their career.
Absolutely. Because you don't show up at work fragmented or depleted. You show up whole, you show up anchored in love, and you come home is your safe haven, your powerhouse, where you go, you recharge, and then you have so much to offer to the world.
Yes.
Right? Power couples support each other's life mission, and they feel that it's a privilege to do that. It's not, okay, I have to for you. No. This is a privilege to support each other. They enhance each other, they elevate each other, and amplify their world. So absolutely. Yeah.
So Gabriela, you talk about 4 pillars. Can you share what those pillars are?
Yes, of course. So being the engineer, right, it was very important for me to offer a framework. First of all, a high-level framework that people can follow so they can build that power couple synergy. And then, of course, each pillar has its own tactics, its own practices. So the 4 pillars are the me, the you, the our, and the us. I'll divide them in 2. The first 2, the me and the you, are about the individual, one person. The our and the us are about the couple. So I can describe them shortly for people to understand how we look at this relationship. Me is all about me before we, right? It's all about personal responsibility. Nobody wants to be married to somebody who blames the other one, who is not accountable or not reliable and doesn't take responsibility of their happiness. Nobody likes to be married to a victim. So me is all about taking responsibility for my happiness. Like when I did a career change, right? I was happily married, but I wasn't personally fulfilled. So I wasn't happy because I was not in alignment with what I'm here to do. I had to take responsibility and find out what is it that I want to do and embark on that journey together with my spouse on board, of course, but it was my personal responsibility. So we don't, in the me pillar, we don't outsource our happiness to our partner or our children, because sometimes people do that. Okay, I don't need to find what I want to do with my life. I'm busy with the kids. That's outsourcing my happiness to my children. We don't outsource our happiness, and we don't use our partners as a punching bag. It's the personal development component. The you is also about one person, but is your partner. And this is the deep desire to understand your partner, to know your partner, and to become their best friend. This is the friendship, the respect, the generosity, the wanting to be kind to your partner. And being kind and respect them means that you understand them and you know them. You know their design, you know how they are designed, how they think, how they operate. My husband and I are very, very different. He's a much more linear thinker. I'm a multitasker. He needs to be doing one thing at a time. He has more of an ADD mind. I'm very different, but we respect each other and work together. And more importantly, with the you pillar is that quest to never stop learning about your partner. I always say never stop doing a PhD about your partner. And even I've been married for 27 years. We've been together for 30. And if you think, okay, how much more can I learn about this person? If any of the listeners have that question in their mind, I want to tell you as much as you want. There is no limit of how much you can learn about your partner because you're always changing, you're always growing. All you need to do is inquire, right? When you fall in love, what is that? Is your desire to know someone. That's why you listen to them, you talk to them, you spend time with them. So that desire should never stop. I'll tell you a small anecdote with that pillar is that about a month and a half ago, my husband was hospitalized for a week. He went through surgery, and we actually experienced each other in a completely new way. He was never hospitalized. I never spent a week with him like that all the time. So we got to have different conversations and experience each other in a completely different setup, completely different way. And we had a chance to actually reflect on what was going on, turning 50, going through these things. So sometimes I have a hard time expressing my feelings, but the sweetest feeling is when you evolve with someone you knew all your life, and now you're discovering something new, and you're going through that with that person.
Absolutely.
Somebody you already trust, but there's more. So that's the you.
Hold on. I think that you said a very, very amazing conversation. I think we sometimes go into a relationship, we see our own self change, but somehow we have an assumption that that person is, like the couch, which is on the in the house, which you could always rely on going back and sitting on it, and is similar and is the same. But it's so important to see that every phase of life that we go through, that person is also changing. And I'm changing, and how we could go through the different phase of life and get to know each other again. And the phase of life, not only with age, but, as you become a parent, as your children grow and you become a different parent to them, as, their illnesses, as we hit, midlife, midlife conversations where our bodies change. When, one of us have elderly parents, which we have to become caretakers. There's so many things that happen. Or even when somebody, our maid, goes through a career change and who they become, and so different every time they go through a career change. And each one of these changes, which are happening consistently, are the opportunities for us to get to know them, but to also get to know ourselves within a change that wasn't, we didn't expect. For example, I might want to go through changes, and I go through my own ups and downs when their changes are happening with me. But there's also changes that are happening with my partner that I didn't necessarily ask for, or we're looking for it. It's the same thing you were sharing, like suddenly he had to be in a hospital for a week. This was not a change that either one of you were expecting to happen. So getting to know ourselves within the process. So I can see that the first and the second pillars, which is me and you, are part of the awareness that consistently you have to keep looking and holding that kind of a curiosity or wonder, so that you could gain so much information from both of these consistently, which then it goes to your third pillar, which is our.
I love the words you use, curiosity and wonder. The secret is in not in connecting and not, retracting. Because when we're going through challenges, it's very normal to retract. And not either you don't want to burden your partner or, you're in your own pain. No, we don't want to burden people, but this is your partner. It's about having these conversations. What's going on, right? That curiosity, what's going on? And in fact, it's so magical because, during that week, at a certain point, we were walking on slowly on the floor that he was hospitalized. And I asked him, we were talking about what's in our heart. And I asked one simple question. I asked him, what do you want? And he answered me, I want certainty whether I need surgery or not. And the next day, we just got that answer. We got that certainty. So that's what a power couple is, right? We amplify each other, we coach each other, we help each other. But there's one, in order to get there, you have to communicate, not close up. You have to communicate heart to heart. You want to understand. You want to have that curiosity and wonder you were talking about. So moving to the third pillar, this is the most practical pillar of the three, is the hour. And the hour means what belongs to us. O-U-R. Yeah, my accent is not always easy. So our home, our dream, our life, our vision, what do we want, our children, our assets, our finances, how do we manage all of that? So power couples see themselves, they think like co-founders. They have a common vision and they see themselves as co-founders of one business with two shareholders. And because they think that way, they make decisions together. I was talking with someone who ended up divorcing. Haven't seen this person in a long time. And this person gave an example, okay? He said, I asked my wife at the time, where do you want to go for vacation? She said a location. And I said, why? I don't want to go there again. We already been there. I give you a week, think about it, come back to me. I didn't comment, but I was surprised because when we discuss where we want to go for a vacation, it's not, well, you decide and I'll tell you if I agree or not. We have a conversation, right? We make decisions together. So this is what this is all about. Decisions are made together and then we work in a very clever way, especially if you have children. Now you have more people depending on you. We use the 3 C's: communication, coordination, and collaboration. So this is where all the operational rituals, as I call them, are the right rituals that help us manage this life properly, right? The daily communication, the weekly planning, the communication on demand. When I tell my husband, listen, we need to sit and look at our schedules because there's so much going on for me that I am so overwhelmed. Let's plan together. That's communication on demand. That's when I feel he doesn't need to read my mind, but I need to share what's going on within me so we can team up. So the hour is the practical operational rituals that make your relationship look like a business and run smoothly and together.
Yes, it's a business of life that if it becomes chaotic, then you can't connect because you got to constantly handle the chaos.
That's right.
Run smoothly with the communication and planning and the structure that the two people create, then, like you said, the business of life operation is going smoothly. So therefore, you do have time to connect and be together and enjoy each other's company.
That's right. That's right. And you said, sometimes you care for your elder parents, or some of your children have more needs than others. There's so much going on. You might be in a very stressful situation at work. If we have these operational rituals and we communicate, coordinate, then we can collaborate. The idea is to collaborate, but if we don't communicate and coordinate, we can't collaborate. Mm-hmm. And then we feel we're a burden to each other. We don't feel we enhance each other. And then the last pillar, the most beautiful one, is the us. And the us is the true unity and intimacy between a couple. Now, of course, you need the first three to build that trust and connection, right? Because you have to trust and you have to have connection. Before you communicate, you have to have connection. So then you reach that us is that unity, the intimacy, the physical intimacy, the emotional intimacy, the spiritual intimacy. And when people feel emotionally connected, then they work together better, they make decisions together, they're nicer and kinder to each other. And unfortunately, a lot of couples let go of that physical intimacy as it is a burden. It's not a burden. These are the vitamins to your relationship. You don't want to be deprived from nutrients, right? Couples who don't have physical intimacy usually fight more, or they fight over stupidity. They don't feel they are one.
And there's a lot of changes throughout the years. Like you've been together for 30 years, so you could imagine and you could experience what changes come. I mean, there's changes that happens with physical intimacy. And I'm not just talking about sexuality. I'm talking just intimacy, like romantic base of sexual intimacy. Which, when you're just going together, then you cohabitate. When you're married, it changes when you have your first child, second child. It changes when your body changes, when the female body changes, the male body changes, and when you're stressed about something else. So all of this is consistently changing. And sexuality and intimacy is one of those things that I've noticed people just don't talk about. They go through the changes and they kind of try to adapt or shut down around it versus have a conversation. It's one of those things that people take very personal. Their egos get hurt and they just don't share with each other what their needs are, what's going on, what they like, what they don't like. And it does take away a lot from the partnership, because then it just, after a while, it becomes a transactional partnership without having that type of an intimacy, which that's why we go into, romantic relationships or marriages together to have that piece. We don't want just transactional partnerships. We could have that with anybody. But if we're choosing one person to do this with, not only we want those partnerships, but we also want another connection through those partnerships that really comes from that type of romantic intimacy.
Yes, absolutely. I will add to that and say that physical intimacy doesn't start in the bedroom, like you said, right? That's very important. We forget to be playful, we forget to flirt, we forget to touch. And touch doesn't have to be sexual. Holding hands or just putting a hand on your partner's shoulder. So I talk a lot about rituals, and I talked previously about operational rituals, but there are connection rituals too. And one of them is kissing your partner every morning when they leave and when they come back home. Go to the door, greet them, hug them, and kiss them, or cuddling in the morning. No, sometimes people say we don't wake up at the same time. Okay, so then whenever you wake up, go to your partner, give them a hug. We underestimate the power of those 30, 40 seconds of closeness, what it does to us. It makes us feel we're in this together, and everybody needs that.
Yes.
But we stop doing that.
Yes, it's connection.
That's right. Go to the door and tell your partner, bye, have a great day, give them a kiss. When someone comes from home from work, whoever comes first, go greet the other one at the door. I have a golden retriever. I know that feeling when you come home and the dog is so happy to see you. Imagine if it's not just the dog, right? It's your partner, and with your children too. My children will not leave the home without saying bye and giving me a kiss. Now, okay, the boys that are at an age, they don't kiss me. They put their head, so I kiss them in the head, but that's okay. But I go to the door and say bye, right? And when they come home, wherever I am in the house, if it's possible, I will go and greet them, because nobody likes to come to an empty house, because then it feels empty in our heart. So these are the small rituals that make you want to be with someone. So when you are intimate, it's not just about passion. It's not just about, oh, well, I know you already, the passion fades. No, it doesn't. If you feel connected, passion fades without connection. But if the connection is always there, if you are taking it deeper and deeper, if you are nourishing it, then the passion doesn't fade. It's not the same passion as in the honeymoon phase. I get it. I'm not naive, but it's more of a place of coming back home. Is you crave your partner's smell. You crave the touch of their skin. It's a whole different feeling.
Yes, it certainly is. So as you have shifted from your coaching with for business coaching to couples coaching, what are you finding in the coaching that has been shifted, and what are you finding in your clients as they come to you?
Well, it goes back to what we were talking about in the morning, in the beginning. I still do career coaching, and I'll give you an example of a couple that I was talking to. Now, one of the partners is very, very busy, and right now they're also going through changes, as we were talking about. One mandate is ending, a mandate that provided a lot of fulfillment for one of the couples. They're moving to a new home. There is a lot of expenses. It's also a blended family. I love working with second marriages because they're very aware and they want to do it right. So they're very motivated. And they were saying that they feel that when they're at home, there's so much stress. And I said, there's one thing that is missing. When the children are not there, you communicate, that's fine. You need to continue sharing what's going on. Yes, it is normal that because this mandate is ending, you're going through a change. Yes, it is normal that because your hormones are changing, you're going through a change. But don't forget to talk to each other and say, and lean on each other. So this is what I find that sometimes is not sometimes, for the most part, is lacking. Is everybody's so busy and everybody wants to do things right, but we forget to talk our feelings heart to heart. That's why I ask couples to have a daily check-in. Whether you do, I said, ideally go for a walk, because walks are very, very powerful, because you're not looking at each other on the eyes. So when you're looking ahead, it's much easier for some people to open up and share what's in their heart. But I said, you know what, just have a daily check-in, even if you do a walk around the block, or because I live in Montreal, in the winter is not always possible, just sit with a cup of tea or a glass of wine, share what's in your heart. Bring your partner in.
By the way,
this is what I find it's missing.
And I love Montreal. It's a gorgeous city.
Yes, it is. Thank you. And you're in California, right?
Yes, Southern California. What is it that we haven't shared that you really want people to know?
That it's never too late to reconnect. You don't need to retire to reconnect with your partner. You don't need to have hours to reconnect with your partner. It's a decision. It's a choice. You might say, well, we're not happy. But I've seen this with couples. Conversations about what are you feeling? What do you want? How do you see your life? It's all it takes to start igniting a new movement. Because after all, think about it. Who do you rather connect? To a new person, or to the person you have built a life with, a family with? You have a history. I believe that our romantic relationship is the most important relationship we have. First of all, we chose it. It's out of choice. It's not that your parents were born into them. And secondly, it has the most amount of potential to bring goodness into your life.
Yes. Absolutely.
So it's never too late to reconnect. It all starts with one conversation and doing those small rituals, showing the other person that you see them, that they matter, whether you bring them a cup of tea to their desk or you go and say goodbye to the door. It's the small changes, even if you don't feel like it. And this is important to mention because you probably won't feel like it if you're disconnected. Nobody feels like doing things to a person they don't feel connected to. But long, happy relationships are not built on feelings. They're built on connection and commitment. And commitment doesn't require that you feel like it. It requires you simply choose to show up. I mean, you don't always feel like going to work, but you're committed. You don't always feel like getting up in the morning and, I don't know, making lunchbox to your children, but you're committed to them. So don't wait to feel it. Just choose to do it and then watch the magic.
And the feeling will show up.
That's right. Beautiful.
Everyone, get this book, Becoming a Power Couple, 4 Pillars to Engineer Legendary Marriages by Gabriela Embon. Where can people find you?
My website, which is Gabriela with one L, Embon, EMBON.com.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for taking the time and being with us.
Thank you, Dr. Zeine, for having me. It's been a pleasure.
And for all of you who are out there, create an amazing life for yourself and everyone around you, especially in your relationships. If you liked anything that the two of us said, please share this episode with other people so they can also get the joy that you got. And give us comments, questions. Let us know how it was for you. And until next week, take great care of yourself and bye-bye.
When I join Anabasis Academy, what do I get and what I don't get?
What do you get? What don't you get? You don't get a certificate because certificates never guarantee prosperity. You don't get generic so-called practical advice and recipes because you're unique and they hardly ever work. You don't get a bunch of shallow motivational nonsense because the only one who can motivate you is you. You will. You will get provoked and you will get fresh perspectives to consider. You'll get to activate your mindfulness, to tool up and move up, to discover your talents and gain confidence. And like all other remarkable people, if you engage and act, you will get a uniquely yours opportunity to evolve and shape your future.
Visit AnnaBazesAcademy.org. Explore the difference, experience it, and make a difference.
Are you a psychotherapist looking to enhance your practice? The Awareness Integration Therapy developed by Dr. Foojan Zeine is a comprehensive guide to the principle and techniques of this powerful therapeutic approach. Join the growing community who have elevated their practice and expanded their skills by embracing Awareness Integration Therapy and witnessing its life-changing impact. Order your copy on Amazon now.